Hi, everybody. Alisha, alcoholic.
Hey, Alisha.
Thank you guys for having me tonight. I'll tell you, I've never been paid to speak. I am not a speaker, but I definitely like to, if I'm asked to do it. So I'm here, and I'm here because of other people like you that have done it for me. So I hope that I will bring something. I don't know what, but I also do know there's a big basketball game on tonight. So I was actually, when I was asked, I thought maybe nobody would come. And then my husband said it's at 8:45. I was like, so anyways, if anybody needs to leave early, no. But I guess I should say, it's always funny, but I do feel this way. When I came to like First Memories, I was the fourth kid in the family. Well, at the time I was the baby born. My mom and dad had been married for like many years, and supposedly I was planned. But my father actually left 2 weeks after I was born, and literally, we actually have a relationship now. But he left and he was out of my life for most of my life. But I always think it's so strange because he'll tell me like he married the woman that he cheated on my mom with. So their wedding anniversary is like my age. So it's like crazy. It's like the July, like before so I'm always like, that's so weird. But anyways, so with that being said, and of course I don't remember that. But the thing that I do remember is my mom remarried when I was 5, and my stepdad raised me. And I was very fortunate. He's a very good man. He's an extremely good man. He was young, and so my parents, I was born in Florida, and then right after the whole divorce went through and stuff, my mom actually, and of course, this is stuff too I've honestly learned over my sobriety, which is crazy, I never knew, but my mom in the middle of the night moved us to Alabama because my stepdad was going to the University of Alabama at the time. He was a senior, and we didn't think anything of a kid. You only know what you know. I mean, that's like the crazy part of, you're given what you're given. And like, I remember the early part of their marriage. It was like very happy and lots of parties. We lived on a lake house. Neither one of them are alcoholics. But I do remember like tapping the keg, like for, people. And I thought them was like cool. I honestly, I just remember it as being a good time in my life. And, I guess maybe perhaps as like their newlywed war, I don't know, but my mom just, she's a very angry person, to say the least. I still, if I could figure it all out, I would. I wish I wish I could understand it. But again, going back to it is what you know. And my dad had actually moved up to Maryland because he couldn't find a good job with her family, and we stayed in Alabama. And my parents moved us so we moved from like Tuscaloosa then to like Birmingham. So it's like every 2 years we moved a little bit. And then my dad left, so my mom was like with us at home. And this is just what I remember it was horrible. And they ended up having 2 kids. So they were like young, and my mom was a nurse, and the one great thing I can say is she was always such a good provider, and she worked nights. And I was like in first grade, I was young, as little as I was. And my sister, who's about 2 years older than me, we would get up and care for my little brother and sister at night, like giving bottles and stuff. And oh my gosh, I can remember even just like playing with them. We didn't know what we were doing, but being exhausted to go to school the next day, And again, it's what and stuff. I never went without by any means. Always had a roof over my head and plenty of food to eat. And but I just remember like being very uncomfortable, like a lot. I didn't have a place to turn ever for like full security, sense of security or anything like that. And the one sister, like I said, I'm one of 6 kids, and my parents did a wonderful job raising my little brother and sister, and my little brother and sister, and my stepdad's my dad. Like I don't see, the differences there. But I guess you'd say we did the best we could. But even when we were kids, the sister that's closest to me in age, I drew closer to her, of course, just like naturally. And I was lucky to have her. I was lucky to have that partner in crime to, you know, just, or really just, I mean, I guess, honestly, because we still didn't really know, but we cried a lot, you know, at night and stuff. And then, so then my parents transplanted us up from Alabama to Maryland, and that couldn't be any more shocking than leaving, you know, literally the country. My husband was born and raised here, too. This is his, where he grew up in Carthage, actually, but I remember when he first came to visit down there with my friends, and he introduced himself and said he was from North Carolina, and they're like, "Oh, you're a Northerner," and he's like, I mean, you literally could have called him outside his name. He didn't. He's like, no, I'm from North Carolina, you know, but everything's north to them. So, and that is how it is. So, but anyway, so again, it's just it went on, and childhood, it wasn't great. I mean, it was like all the time, and I still like I said, to this day is the only thing that I can't, you know, diagnose her. I've thought many times maybe it was like a mental disorder or whatever, but it was like screaming. It was like literally like adults like size tantrums and stuff. It wasn't good. It was extremely, extremely confusing, and it was never because of there was never a cause. So as a kid, I was like always on edge because I wanted to not make it happen. And I wanted to kind of, you know, I wanted to stop it. I wanted to stop the noise. And I literally became this kid that just I tried to make everybody laugh, you know, and I tried to make it gel or make light of the situation. And, you know, I didn't care at the expense of myself, you know. My family still teases me about stuff, you know, but I was doing it out of pure nervousness and just, you know, being frightened. I also was really protective of my little brother and sister. I wanted to shield them from it as much as I could. And that too is where my parents they took us to church though every Sunday, you know. We were all there dressed nice, and I was so confused because we would literally be in the car ride. We could even be in the parking lot at church, and my mom was cussing us out, you know, of course with her face back towards the back of the van, you know, so nobody could see again. But anyways, I mean, it would just be horrible. And then literally you get out of the car and she's like a changed woman. It's completely who the hell is this, you know? So I really related to, I didn't have the security of I don't know. There was no peace. I had no peace. And like I said, I always tried to make the best of it. I did really well in school, and I tried to. I always thought I could make up for it. I always thought I could change it. I always thought my stepdad would stand up for us. That's the one thing he didn't. And the other thing with it is like I said, I mean, and he still is, you know, he's a great guy. But for whatever reason, you know, she controlled him too. And especially when it came to her kids, which was the four of us, he never made us feel like we weren't his kids, ever. It was all her. We would always hear, well, you know, Jeff doesn't have to be here. Jeff doesn't have to do this. Jeff shouldn't be here. Your father should be here, you know. It was, you know, but like I said, I've never once made to be feel as though he didn't want to be there. I never felt like he never yelled too, you know, talk about what the hell, how people end up together. But he never yelled, and I always I love that about him. She would even have these really crazy, sometimes the fits would be so bad, she would leave us. And he'll go away for a day or two, you know, and nobody talked to, you know, you don't talk about anything important in my family, by the way. I mean, you keep face, and, you know, you move on. And all this time, nothing was talked about. It was just we were all on, it was just such a bad environment to be in constantly. And as a kid, you can't leave it. And it just sucks. And I could even remember, I did take some peace in finding, in my school, and sports were one of the best things for me. And even just getting to hang out with other people's parents. I look back on it now, since I've had some perspective. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys, my sober date, I've been, by the grace of God, I've been sober since February 14th, 2017. So, you know, I look back on stuff that I've learned about myself that I actually picked friends for their parents. I loved houses where they were structured, the mom fixed breakfast, and the dad, you know, like interacted, and like I loved it. I can still even remember, even I'm not on Facebook much at all, but the people I keep in contact with are mothers, like, and I always, the thing that I've learned in this program is that God does for us what we can't do for ourselves. And I was not only, I guess maybe I'm getting a little bit too far ahead of myself, but in my life and what I was going through then, it sucked, right? However, I look at it now as like I wasn't given like one mom. I was given a lot of amazing women. I had all these amazing women in my life, and I clung to them. I clung to like teachers that were good, coaches that were good. I didn't realize I was doing that. I did not. And they were always willing to like, drop me off, pick me up, and all that. Parents would take me on vacation with them and their kids. I always wonder how much they knew, because we thought she did such a good job, but people didn't like her, And then there's always that weird thing too. It's your parent. So you can talk as much crap as you want about it, but when you're in public, you hear somebody say something, you want to, or I did, I wanted to stick up for them, and it was just an ongoing thing. But I could just always remember as a kid coming, being dropped off by somebody's parent and standing on the outside of my door and just dreading opening the door because I had no flipping clue. Like, I had no clue what I was going to come into. The days that she was in a good mood too, I mean, it felt good. You knew, like, you rode it as long as you could, kind of in a way. Like, you just, because, it didn't last long. But that was the other things. You never knew when the ball was going to drop. So, anywho, high school years. So I always was sneaky, too. As a kid, I don't know why. Like I said about, I can remember the kegs. I can remember drinking beer. I mean, I wasn't, like, chugging a ton or something, but I always was interested in it. It looked fun. There was something very appealing to me, to see these people, change, their moods change that quickly and stuff. And it was definitely very attractive. And I ended up, like, I would sneak wine coolers, like, from my mom. And my oldest sister is like 8 years older than me. We were at the beach one time. I have since told her, made amends with her. But they were all on a walker. I don't know where they were. I was by myself in the apartment. That wine cooler, I knew it had alcohol in it, but I, didn't really, I wasn't like, but it looked so good. And I can remember I drank almost half of it, but left a sip and pushed the cap back on it, like I was like maybe 9 or 10, thinking, they'll never notice. I don't know. But they did notice, and they punished my sister because they thought that she had been the one that took from it. But anyway, so I really took off with my drinking when I was about it was the summer I turned 14, and I'm an August kid, so that I really did. I drank alcoholically, like, from the beginning, oblivious. I fit in with people. A lot of people thought it was funny how much I could drink, especially like the bigger guys and stuff. They were my friends. Like, I could literally hang with them, and again, I'm not proud of that, but I did cling to that. I noticed early on that I didn't drink like other girls. Like, I can remember, like, I even have one friend. I still, it's just different. We're all different, but I still think back and I'm like, she never drank. Like, that's so crazy. Like, why would you even want to be around all of us? I don't get it, but I was jealous of that. I liked it. I always thought, wow, that would be, like, really cool and stuff. Her dad was a cop, but I don't know, maybe that was it. But anyways, so it just took off and it kept going. I mean, still miserable. I always put I got into some trouble, here and there. Nothing like crazy. I got, caught drinking at a party, and I had to do some like classes with other of my friends. It wasn't, it did not upset me. I did not ever think, though, you're an alcoholic. I never thought that. I just thought, I just go a little harder than everybody else. Like, okay. So then I just kept thinking, though, that unhappiness, though, that just like internal like dread. There were a few things then that really did excite me, like sports and stuff like that. And I always thought, I'm going to leave this damn town and it's all going to get better. So this is it. Like, this is what it is. I just got to get out and away from her. So went on to college, and I actually ended up going back. I went to the University of Alabama, and I don't know what to say. I drank, but I kind of like always justified stuff in my head. I was like, okay, well, my grades are okay. Like I did enough, by the way. I did not exceed at college. Like I did not. In fact, there was one teacher in high school that pissed me off, and like I was always they always would say, you know, I wasn't the one to start stuff, but they would be like, Alisha, you make a good audience. I'd get in trouble because I found stuff really funny, you know. So they were like, you make a good audience. And one time in front of like everybody, she made a comment like, you won't even graduate from college. I am not gonna let, her name was Miss Higgins. I thought about her all the freaking time, like when I was about to not graduate, like so many times. I was like, I gotta do this. And like, I don't know why I thought she'd like get a call or so. I have no idea, but I really wanted to prove her wrong. So I was by the grace of God, I got out. Like I said, it wasn't pretty by any means. But it was like, I blended in. That's what I'm just trying to say. I did get into trouble with the law some. Again, it was like, I always thought this is what you do. Like I'd always justify. I'm in there with like other kids, you know, like I'm not the only one. A lot of times I was the like girl, but did, you know, trash cleanup and, you know, I had to do stuff that maybe wasn't as enjoyable, but just justified. So again, I thought, okay, well, things are going to get better. Went on, got a job, all that good stuff. And then I moved back to Maryland because I got a job up there. And that's when I met my husband, my now husband. And I kept thinking, that's what's going to fix this all. Like, this is going to get fixed. Here we go, you know. So we got married in 2010, and I moved back down here. And honestly, everything was going right. Like, I got a great job in Chapel Hill. And I had the commute suck though. We live in Sanford, and that we did because at the time when we first, I didn't have a job, so I knew that I was like the likelihood it'll be, you know, up towards Raleigh or Chapel Hill then for me to get a job down here. And he worked down here in like Pinehurst, and I was like, and in Carthage, and so that's why we picked like Sanford, like in the center. So that's where we ended, but that ended up being a horrible commute for me. So I did start to blame the commute as the reason why I was miserable and drinking. And man, the drinking just got, it got worse, you know. And there were fun times to it. Honestly, by the time I was married, I thought that it would all fix itself. I thought the happiness would come, that I'd start to feel again, you know. But I didn't. Like, it just didn't. And it has nothing to do with him, too. That was like the crazy part of realizing and knowing, I'm like, you know, and then you feel like you're so, I'm like questioning myself, like, what is physically wrong with me? Like, right? I was like drinking to not feel the bad stuff, right? And then no matter what, I wasn't feeling any good. It was like I was like, this is so annoying. Like, it was just so depressing. It was just, you know, that cycle and the feeling like I felt like crap all the time. I was not let go of my job in Chapel Hill, but I just started applying like down. I was there for 4 years, and I was like, something's got to give. It'll be better if I live closer to home. So I took like the first job I got and moved back home. Moved back home. Listen to me. Worked in Sanford and stuff, and I thought like this will fix it, but it wasn't. You know, nothing was changing it. So you know, here I am though, brilliant, and I still think I can control this and I can fix it. I tried, you guys. I tried maybe like. Probably, this is like the truth. I didn't see beer or wine as alcohol. And I know that's stupid, right? I know that it is, but like I always thought if I drank beer or wine in a day, like it counted as a sober day. Like it was a sober day. Like why not, right? Like for whatever reason, you know, I know this is all bullshit we tell ourselves, but I would tell myself like I was nice when I drank beer, and I could never drink enough beer to like get really drunk because my stomach like would get so fucking full, and I'd be like, oh man, you know, I just hated it. So it's like I always had to add, you know, and stuff, and then wine too. I would love it because like my husband's family, by the way, they're drinkers. Not here to say whatever, but they all drink a lot, and that was the other thing. It is not why I picked my husband. I'm so sorry. Actually, my husband was the best thing I did drunk. I know. I tell him that too to his face, so don't worry. But anyways, I thought though, I was like, because my parents didn't, after all that like partying they did like the first 2 years of their marriage, they both just like quit drinking. And I've since asked them, like, were you guys alcoholics? They're like, no, we grew up, like, and I kept thinking I would grow up. Like, I was like, I want to grow up. This is going to be great. But anyways, I did it. And, so his family, they always drank. And so I was like, great. Because I was like, I fit in, like, and to this day, I still, like, I love his uncles, like, but man, like, they would, like, want me out to, like, by the fire, like, the fire pit or whatever, like, and I'd just be sitting there. My husband used to get so annoyed because he knew what was coming next. Like, he knew it wasn't, like, good. He knew how to play the tape out. He started to talk to me about it, and I kept thinking, God, you're really wrecking this for me. Like, he did this, like, and again, sorry if I sound mean or whatever, but I'm honest. I trust you. He knows, but, and he had to live it, God bless him. But, he would, like, try to do what were really nice things. Like, one time he was like, well, we'll start drinking. Like, he said we wouldn't drink during the weekdays. Man, I hid stuff during the weekdays. So, like, I was like, okay. And then I would actually try to get him to, like, go to sleep or whatever. I would really hit it hard, like, when he would go to bed. So, like, I could get that numbing, like, and I wanted to get stupid. Like, I want to get to the point where, like, I couldn't think, I couldn't justify anything. Like, I just wanted to be there, like, in that, like, horrible place. It was not good. But I could remember him being, like, 4 days in. So he got these, like, teas, and later I looked some of them up, and they're for your, like, liver too. So he was clearly worried. But I was like, I can remember, like, hating it. Like, what is he thinking? And then like 2 days into this, I literally thought it was a year, and I was like, of us just drinking tea. Like, I was like, of these, like, that was like our. And by the way, for like fun at night, oh, you never go. Anyway, and I love him. He's a much better person than me. So, but anyways, I remember him being like, oh, this is so great. Like, I have more energy. I'm going to go running tomorrow, and like all this stuff. And I'm like, is he kidding? So, like, I started to realize, like, this ain't going to work for me. Like, that, like, I tried. Like, I'm like, okay, well, this isn't. So I justified it. I tried pacing myself. I did, we had it was not big, but, like, we had a few bottles of liquor in a closet, and, he definitely kept an eye on that. And when I realized he kept an eye on it, I started to, it just depended if he could really tell I was drinking, or I, like, knew that he knew I was drinking, and I would end up, I would go buy other bottles. So my thing was vodka, but he loved whiskey too. I would drink anything. It didn't matter. Just wanted it, to be liquor. But anyways, I would go buy these different bottles of vodka, and I knew, like, where where I needed to bring it back up to. So then I would take those bottles that I'd opened, and we had these, like, cabinets, like, above of our in our laundry room. They're above the washer and dryer. Which, I will say this, again, in my life, like, in my marriage, and just like in college, I was like, okay, well, I'm passing, like, barely passing, but I'm passing, so I'm okay. There's nothing wrong with me. In my marriage, I took really good care of our house. I was like, and I kept my, and I made decent money. So I'd, like, justify it. I'm like, oh yeah, but I have dinner ready every night, and my house is clean. Like, like, I was, like, super proud of that. So I thought, I'm going to put these half-empty bottles of vodka in here, because he never goes in this cabinet. It's all cleaning supplies. Like, this is perfect. So it actually did last for a very long time, but I started to buy vodka bottles, like, all the time, and I lost count and stuff, and I'm like in one of the other rooms, and I'm sorry, I won't, I try not to cuss a lot, but anyways, it was just funny. He's like, I'm in the other room. I don't even know what I was doing. I had no idea where he was in the house at the time, and I hear, why the fuck do we have 8 different bottles of vodka with different levels in them? And I was like, dang, I was like, proud. And then I tried to, I don't even remember my bounce back from that. It wasn't good, but so of course too, there's a much darker side to that. I got to the point when I was hurting so bad. I mean, I literally, and I never want to lose this feeling. I can feel it right here when I start to talk about it, and I hate it so much. It was literally an emptiness, like, so deep and dark inside of me. I didn't care. I no longer cared about myself. I did not have suicidal thoughts. Like, I can tell you that. But I can tell you how many times that I woke up in the morning and I took that first like breath of air and I was so disappointed. And the way that I feel like it was too is like, you'll see in like a movie and like somebody's like whatever, shipwreck, and they're drowning. They're just trying to get to that surface. They're trying to get to that surface. And that's exactly how my mornings felt. It was like, and then I was like, it was like a disappointment. I was like, because I knew, here I go. I got to start it over. And I'd try so many days. I'm going to do it today. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to do this. I got this. Anything you work, I was really taught that. Anything you work hard enough for, you can own, you can have. It's yours. You just have to work hard for it. And that's how I saw drinking as, and I couldn't. There was nothing I could do. There was absolutely nothing. And I tried. So many mornings was at 7, 8 o'clock, or on the drive into Chapel Hill, I'd be telling myself, this is it, this is it. And by lunchtime, at that point, I was starting to have DTs all the time. And it would come out in different ways. And I had horrible, literally controlling anxiety that was the worst in the world. I don't know if anybody has experienced that in here. Yes, my drinking contributed to it, but it's something that I still deal with some, and something else I've learned. But anyways, it was just pure hell. There was nothing. I showed up though, for the things that I needed to, and I just kind of I started to isolate more. And this part, I think he really saw the slip and I didn't. But definitely conversations got a lot more serious, And then this is also a part that you guys might find horrible, but maybe some of you will completely understand. I've always wanted a dog, and we got a dog, and y'all, for whatever reason, that dog spoke to me. So he was a mutt, and so we got him in February. I shit you not, I was in recovery a year from having him. But it was for whatever reason, my husband, I could justify, he'll move on, he'll be fine, this, that, or whatever. And with my dog, though, I'm he needs me. He needs me. This is not fair to him, And he also would get really standoffish. Jerry actually knows my dog. I mean, he's a little bit of an asshole, and I love that about him. I love it. So, but he would start shading me and stuff, and going to the other end of the couch, and when I was really, drunk. And I mean, there were times, he was he gave me that glimpse of hope. He gave me a little something. There was something inside of me that was still alive. I guess that's what I'm saying, is that I thought, oh, he needs me or whatever. So had a really big, huge, horrible fight with my husband, and ended up, this is it. I got to do something. He left, which he had never left before, too. That's the other thing. I knew, so this is the honest truth, too. So long, I was so disappointed in myself because I loved him so much. And I was not holding up to what I promised him at all. He was not getting anything that I promised him. And I might as well have been in quicksand. I mean, it was just, I wasn't moving forward. I wasn't anything. If anything, I was getting more bogged down and more bogged down. And so for whatever reason, I always think, this had to be my higher power. There was something he said, and he said to me, he was like, Alisha, I hate coming home. He said, I stand on the outside of that door, and I don't even want to come in because I have no idea what I'm going to get. And you guys, just like that, is exactly how my mom made me feel. And it sucked. And I swear, I was so drunk, and just like that. But he left. And I was like, oh, and then, the craziness, I'm like, he's going to take my dog. It's just as straight as that. I'm like, I'm going to lose him, I'm going to lose the dog. So anyways, I drank everything I had, woke up the next day, was just in complete shambles and stuff, and barely made it into the shower, barely. And when I got out, I was sitting on the couch and crying, and Sammy's my dog's name, and he came up and he started licking my face, licking the tears off. And for whatever reason, because Joseph had told me about Fellowship Hall, he's like, they know about you, all you gotta do is call. Whatever reason, I had the strength to call then. So I did, I called, they literally knew me. They were like, we just have to do a 30-minute interview with you or whatever. And I thought, well, I'm not going to qualify. I still was this crazy. I thought I was a horrible person. That's all. I thought I was a horrible person. I had done so much wrong. My view of God was so skewed because of my childhood and stuff. So I was like, I'm just really messed up, completely messed up here. there's no turning back for me. I really did feel like that. So they were like, well, we can take you tomorrow at 4. And I was like, what? So if it didn't happen that way, I wouldn't have gone. There's no way I would have gone. I couldn't have prepared for it at all. Like, I just, needed to go. So I'll tell you, like, my journey there, still did not believe that I was an alcoholic. People say that they thought they were going to, like, learn to drink. I thought that I would clear out all the shit and then I wouldn't have a drinking problem. Like, that's not what I thought, I was like, I'll be able to drink that wine. It'll be alcohol to me, I'll be able to have a beer at dinner. Like, that does not appeal to me at all. Like, it's when I see, like, at, like, the Christmas parties, my husband, like, his uncles, when they start to get that really shitty, that's when I'm out. Because, like, that to me is the most appealing. Like, it's not, like, my mother-in-law can have, like, literally a sip of wine, and I'm like, that's so boring. Like, what? I don't get that part. I really still don't. I guess I'll never will. But so my journey started at Fellowship Hall. The first thing I would say that started to break through with me was laughter. I was dead. Like I said, I had no hope. Somebody shared with me there that hope stood for hold on, pain ends. And so I clung to that. It made sense to me. I told myself that over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. Because I had to believe that all these great people in these rooms that I would listen to every single day, it happened for them. It could happen for me. And if it didn't happen for me, oh well, I can go drink at the beach somewhere, And so I did accept, like, my white chip, like, 2 weeks in there. And the one thing they told me is when you get out, make sure you go to a meeting the first day, like, no matter what, I was so exhausted. I was so sick of my shit. Like, I was, like, so sick. That was the other thing is whenever at some point, now I didn't, like, I want to say, like, I wasn't kicking and screaming. I was open, but I didn't think it would work for me. I really did not think. I thought I was the one that was, like, so messed up that nobody would understand, And when I was there, one of the first speakers and the person I connected with most, I'm not lying to you, he was probably, like, 76. I think I forget what he did. It was nothing of my interest. Like, there's nothing, like, we have nothing in common. And I swear to you, he was talking about his mother, and it was my mom. I literally was like, holy shit, like, we have the same mom, like, fell. But anyways, and, like, it was like then, it was just, like, little by little stuff happened. And I was so exhausted. I was just, like, physically exhausted, everything, emotionally. I mean, I think you guys know. But that, like, that's something I really do. There's no way that I can explain that because, and I still believe this. I was living a life without purpose, and I still believe that is 10 times worse than dying. Because it is like you are in a true you're in hell. You are literally in hell, and I'm not my higher power. He showed himself to me, over time. I wasn't like, like people, but I had moments, like great moments, like you're like, like even just like running into people in the program here or there, like really bad days, or somebody just randomly shouting something at me as I walk to my car, from a meeting, like that I'm like, I needed to hear that shit, and it was just like over time, like that laughter in these rooms, like it really healed me, and it really did. So I think, I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but I always, so I told you what it was like, and then how I came. When I came into the rooms, though, it took me about like 3 weeks. I did everything that was told to me. I was so amazed that I made it through 28 days without drinking. Now, I know people are like, oh, well, you were at rehab or whatever. No, like, I made it 28 days without drinking. Like there was no, that was honestly the biggest accomplishment of my life at that point. Because, like, I at most, I think that I might have, like, strung together 4 24 hours on my own, maybe, I think, in the last 2 years. So it wasn't easy. I did the work. So I got a sponsor. I actually got the one woman in the room, and I can say it, I hate when she's with me that I can't say this. But she has been through so much shit in her sobriety. And that woman has got character, class, strength that I wanted. And like I remember when I started to learn about her, I didn't even know at the time, she celebrated 46 years in these rooms, and she got sober in like her 20s. Like I was a little afraid of her too. I honestly picked her because I just didn't want my own bullshit, you know. I was just like, give it back to me. God, she still does, like, you know. But slowly just stuff got better and stuff. I was real foggy headed too for that first year, but I really did. I feel like I hitched my wagon to her a bit, and then she would introduce me to other women, and I'd hitch my wagon when I got too tired, but I'd still show up and I'd learn and I'd listen, you know, and slowly like changes just really did happen. And I can remember when I got my first stewardship, and I still, like, every day is a miracle for me. I can remember, like, people, like, being nervous about, I got to go to a party for the first time or a wedding and stuff, sober and all this. And I'm like, I fucking made it to the grocery store today. I'm like, got through the line of, like, post office, and I'm like, walking the car, and I'm like, yeah, I'm sober. So, like, I was like, there were so many, I had little wins, and I would bank them. Like, I would, like, literally bank them. My anxiety prior to quitting drinking was so bad, like, I didn't even go to stores anymore. And so I was like, okay, I would even make myself like, I'm going to go to the Dollar Tree today, you know, and talk to two people. Like, there's stuff, you know. The fact that I'm standing here today, I hope I've not bored you guys too much, but the fact that it's a miracle. When I was at rehab, my goal was to get up and read, like, the 12 traditions or something. And I couldn't. I still didn't. I didn't get that. I wasn't there yet, you know. But what it's like today, like, I want to say, because of this program and because of my higher power, I have an amazing life. I enjoy things that I didn't know I could. That mom I talked, I literally hold no anger towards her. I still talk to her. I try to have a relationship with her. I've learned boundaries, though. Like, I've learned a lot. I've gotten help outside of these rooms, too, because I went through some deep shit. Like, I mean, I'm sure everybody did, you know, but, like, you know, we're not professionals. And also, I learned, too, in this process, you have to be your own advocate, whether it's even, like, medication or, like, you have to be your own advocate. And that was also, like, it sucked, like, learning that, you know, like, a year in. I didn't do anything my first year, didn't make any big decisions. However, I wanted to scream at every person in this room that said, don't make any big decisions this year. And I'm like, I quit drinking. Like, did you quit drinking? Because I remember thinking, that's a big decision, so should I not be here? Like, I don't know, I was just so, you know, I was like so not with it or whatever. So, but that mom too, like, I tell you the other thing I've learned is that I love her. There's a lot about her that I love. She stayed, my dad didn't, you know. She was a hell of a provider. Like, she taught us how to take care of ourselves, you know. There's a lot of strength that I take from her, and I love that I'm part of her, you know. So that's this program. That's not me. That's not me being like a good person, because I'm not. But anyways, and then also I hit some health issues, serious health issues, 11 months sober, which I think the miracle of that is it didn't even cross my mind to drink. Like, that was like the weird part, and I can remember being in the hospital and stuff. At the time, I know it was really scary. Like, I think I sound horrible when I say stuff, but this is how I felt. I was like okay to die because I was sober. I was like, I'm gonna meet God with not being drunk, because you don't know how many nights like I would go to sleep, and even though whoever your higher power is too is like that's totally fine. Like, I'm just saying, I would just pray to whoever every night. I would say, like, before I would like black out, I'd be like, please forgive me of my sins and take me with you, like, because I just, you know, didn't want to end up in the alternative, I guess. But anyways, the health issues, like, I'm still, it's a yearly thing and all, but I became a mom in 2020, which is also something that I didn't think would happen for me. It's just really been amazing. My husband, he really did, he stuck with me, and it's incredible, and I'm really grateful for that. And honestly, yes, I mean, I don't know if maybe somebody needs to hear it tonight, but the thing that going through shit with people, like even my siblings, like, we're super close. But it's like, you know, I always think, because my one sister called me one time, she's like, my boys will not stop fighting. They fight all the time. Alisha, what made us close? And I was like, Mom was fucking crazy. I was like, maybe you need to go crazy, you know? But we drew in, and we still are, you know? And so I always, I'm like so grateful for that. But the same is true with my marriage, because we've been through some dark stuff, you know, and we've gotten out on the other side. And life happens, nothing's perfect, like, you know, to each his own. But last thing, I couldn't be here without you guys. Like, the truth is, the program is such a big part of my life. And even my first year, even now though, but my first year really more so, I mean, it was like my sponsor taught me, if you feel good, go to a meeting. If you feel bad, go to a meeting. If you don't think you need a meeting, go to a meeting. If you know, if you're getting bored with it, go to a different time, go to a different group, go to, you know, whatever. Because for 46 years, it's worked for her, you know. And she also, don't keep stuff between my head, because it's like the worst committee ever. Call it and share it with somebody. Even call and share and write, like, just like that, it's split in half. And it's amazing. I do that all the time. I really think that's one of the biggest tickets that has, like, it's a great thing to do, because I don't harbor crap, you know. So, I'm always willing to learn. Like, I don't think I know any. Sometimes I'm like, I don't think in 5 years I really learned that much, you know. But I do. I'm always willing to learn, and I want to learn, like, for, you know, so that I get to maybe one day celebrate 46 years. But for now, we like all only have today, and I really do appreciate you guys letting me speak, and I really appreciate you guys being a part of one of my 24 hours sober. So thanks, guys.